Falcons' 53-man roster is officially set. And spoiler alert, there's some interesting things in here that we have to talk about. Welcome in, Falcons fans, to Falcons Today by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, your new host for the 2025 season. And let's talk about it, because the Falcons' 53-man roster is official for the 2025 season. The first bit of news that we have to cover for you is that Kaleb McGary is out for the entirety of the year. Right at the exact same time that the 53 dropped, they also got the news that Kaleb McGary is on season-ending IR, which is a big blow for the Atlanta Falcons. And speaking of the Falcons, if you want full Falcons analysis, all news, all rumors, all updates covered all the time, join the Falcons Today family and hit that subscribe button right now. Let's go to our quarterbacks. Let's start early, often, easy. Michael Penix, Kirk Cousins. Only two on the 53-man roster. I expected the Falcons to keep three. They ended up waiving Easton Stick. Probably going to be a practice squad member, but as of right now, the Falcons are carrying two quarterbacks, MPJ and Kirk Cousins. Not too crazy stuff there. We expected Kirk to be the backup. Let's move on to the running backs. Our running backs, only three of them. Bijan Robinson, Tyler Allgeir, and Nathan Carter. Somebody that we've talked about a lot on this show as someone who has earned that RB3 spot. I also predicted that the Falcons would keep four running backs. I thought Carlos Washington Jr. might solidify that fourth spot. They waived him, only keeping three. And this is what a quick running back depth chart looks like. I just want to be completely transparent with you. Some of these aren't going to be exact right now because they will update as we get further along and closer to week one when the starters get released. This is just the initial depth chart. So if you see something that catches your eye and you're like, that doesn't look right, don't worry. The players are correct. Once we get an idea of who the starters are, we'll update them one more time. Let's move over to the wide receivers. This is our first major shock. David Sills makes this list. The first five, no problems. We thought that was going to be. But David Sills over the likes of Dylan Drummond and Chris Blair is absolutely insane. The Falcons are keeping seven wide receivers, Agnew coming in at that seventh spot. I did not expect Sills to make this team whatsoever. More of a quiet preseason than anything. So this was a complete shock to me. Over Chris Blair, are you kidding me? I mean, that's the only real, major what the is going on. So I'll keep that in the back of my head, at least for right now. Maybe we'll expand upon that in a little bit. But here's the depth chart. London, Mooney, Ray McLoud, Khaderal Hodge, Casey Washington, Agnew, and then, of course, Sills coming in at the back end. This is just absolutely wild stuff, man. Wild. I did not expect Sills to make this team. But we'll move on. How about we go to the tight ends? And this is another big kind of shocker. Not that they made the team, but the fact that they kept four tight ends. Pitts, Woerner, Feleipe Franks, and Teagan Quitoriano. Four tight ends? I can't believe you give one of the spots to these two guys, Franks or Quitoriano, and you didn't give one to Chris Blair, but I'm digressing. This is what the Falcons' tight end depth chart looks like right now. It's pretty easy. Pitts is going to be your one, Woerner's going to be your two, and then a combo of Franks or Quitoriano at the 3 and 4. It doesn't really matter. I'm still kind of shaken up about the whole Chris Blair incident. But those are your tight ends, at least for right now. Then we move on to the offensive line. And the offensive line, as it stands, there's 9 of them. Jake Matthews, Matthew Bergeron, Ryan Neuzil, Chris Lindstrom, Elijah Wilkinson, Nelson, Gwynn, Kinton, and, of course, the most recent Falcon in the trade, Michael Jerrell. And Jerrell has an asterisk by his name because he has to pass his physical in order to get onto the team, which everybody is saying that he's not going to have a problem passing the physical, so he will be the 9th offensive lineman. Now, where do you put him? That remains to be seen. As of right now, I have Elijah Wilkinson sitting in that right tackle spot. I think Jerrell could be a backup, at least for right now. Maybe that changes at some point. Maybe they go with a different rotation, and he climbs into that right tackle spot. Either way, there's a bunch of different ones to look at. If you want to throw that list 10 up one more time there for me, producer Casey, that'd be great. I do want to point out Jack Nelson on this list because I don't necessarily know that he would have made this offensive line roster if Storm Norton and Caleb McGarry were available and ready to go. So I just want to kind of point that out. He had a really rough preseason. So Jack Nelson, he's in, but I'm not super happy about it. In fact, this Falcons offensive line right now is probably the biggest question mark that at least I have in my mind. I don't know about you. Notable offensive cuts. Boy, is that the understatement of the century. Chris Blair is number one, obviously. Dylan Drummond, Nick Nash did not make the team. That's also kind of notable. Carlos Washington Jr. and Easton Stick. You can have as many guys in this as you want if they consider or are considered notable offensive cuts, at least to you. But these were the 5 that stuck out to me. Do you love the Falcons' official offense? Yes or no? Listen, I like some of it. I don't like that Chris Blair didn't make this team, especially because David Sills, to me at least, was not even going to be close to making this roster. I don't know the reason why he's there. So I can't give it a full yes, but I can't give it a full no because I don't hate it. Either way, let me know in the comment section down below. Before we continue on with the defense, I do have to tell you guys about today's sponsor, and that, of course, is HelloFresh. And listen, you might have heard of HelloFresh before, but not like this. They send chef-crafted recipes and fresh ingredients to your home. But this summer, they made their biggest menu upgrade yet. Bigger. HelloFresh has doubled its menu. You can now choose from 100 options each week, including new seasonal dishes and recipes from around the world. Dig into bigger portions that keep everybody satisfied. It's also healthier. You can feel great, and even with a healthier menu filled with high-protein and veggie-packed recipes, HelloFresh now helps you eat greener with new veggie-packed recipes that have 2 or more servings of those veggies. It is the best way to cook, and it just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/FalconsChat10FM now to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only, varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/FalconsChat10FM to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. I'll have all of that in the comments and description of today's video. All right, let's move on to the defense. Now that you heard my little moose tirade about Chris Blair not making the team, I still find it absolutely wild. But let's, of course, start with the defensive line. Obviously, we're going to go from, line outwards, so we're going to end with special teams, and then, of course, safety is going to be your last defensive position. Here are the D linemen as they are currently slated. David Onyemata, Brandon Dorlus, Micahel London, Aruk Arororo, and Zach Harrison. And your defensive line depth chart kind of looks like this. And remember, like I said, in case you didn't hear me the first time, this is going to change. We just put these in to get a video out for you. This can obviously change based on the starters that are named for Week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But Brandon Dorlus, Onyemata, Ruka Rororo, Zach Harrison, and Micahel London are your 5 defensive linemen for the 2025 NFL season. Let's move on to our edge rushers, a very interesting group and one that I believe is going to be far better than anything the Falcons have had in the last couple of seasons. Arnold Ebiketie, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr., Braylon Trice, and D'Angelo Malone. I thought it was kind of odd that Khalid Kareem did not end up making this, but as of right now, I have Arnold Ebiketie and Leonard Floyd in at edge 1 and edge 2. That's most likely going to be flipped. You might see James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker in there. I don't know what Raheem Morris has cooked up for his rotation of edges. So as of right now, we're just going to keep it like this until we get further notice. But I have no problem with those 6. In fact, those 6 are really, really good. I thought that was a very, very good defensive unit for the edges. Now let's move on to our linebackers, our inside linebackers. So the straight up over the center of the field linebackers. Caden Ellis, Divine Diablo, J.D. Bertrand, and Josh Woods. I believe this is what we originally predicted. Side note here, Troy Anderson is on the PUP list. So I just wanted to throw that out there in case you didn't know. Hey, there he is. There's his name down at the bottom of the list. Troy Anderson. I just got a little nod there from my producer. It made me laugh. Troy Anderson comes in on the PUP. So there are your 4 inside linebackers. Now, let's move back on to the cornerbacks because the corners have a notable name in for a starter position. This is the one time that I actually want to mention that there is a starter in. So we have A.J. Terrell, Mike Hughes, Billy Bowman, who's going to start at the nickel, Clark Phillips, D. Alford, Mike Ford, and Natrone Brooks. So they're keeping 7 total cornerbacks. But I found it interesting that all of the different reports that I'm reading indicate that Billy Bowman is going to be your starter at nickel. So D. Alford will be sliding back to the backup nickel position. Oh, my apologies. Tried to hold that in for quite some time. So I have no problem, again, with this, Falcons cornerback room. I know a lot of fans were out there talking about C.J. Henderson. I had no chance of C.J. Henderson making this roster. None. I get he's a first-round talent, but he's bounced around from practice squad to practice squad the last couple of years. He was not going to make this team. And he's only been with the team for less than 2 weeks. On Thursday, it'll be 2 weeks since he signed. So he's going to be on the practice squad for sure, but he's not going to make the 53. If he gets called up, great. So let's take a look at our final defensive group, the safeties. There's only 3. Jesse Bates, Xavier Watts, DeMarco Helms, Jordan Fuller, not on this list. Probably another practice squad player. I thought that was interesting. Only going with 3 safeties is kind of wild, don't you think? 4 seems like the baseline. There are some teams that keep 5. But at this point, 3, I think they're saying we trust our safeties so much because it is one of the best safety rooms that we're okay with just keeping the 3. We believe that highly in DeMarco Helms. We believe that highly in Xavier Watts. And, of course, Jesse Bates is already amazing. So 3 safeties. Let's wrap it up. Falcons special teams. I mean, we kind of knew this was going to be the way it was. Younghoe Koo, Liam McCullough, Bradley Pinion as your punter. So that equals 53 guys and some notable defensive cuts that I wanted to make sure that you were aware of because it's not just a roster video. We have to talk a little bit about the cuts as well. The defensive cuts as followed. Khalid Kareem, I thought was an interesting cut. Same with Jordan Fuller. Taquan Graham, maybe not as much. Kentavious Street, I know a lot of fans were high on. And then C.J. Henderson. I got a ton of flack from Falcons fans in the comments of my last video saying, how do you not have C.J. Henderson in here? Because he's only been with the team for a week and a half. So that's why. Let me ask you this question. The Falcons have the blank best 53-man roster in the NFL. I want you to fill in the blank. At this point, it's got to be between maybe 20 and 25 at this point. I mean, I don't know yet. I do not know yet. There's a lot on this list that I just... I'm kind of shaking my head at. But I'll have more thoughts and analysis. This is just kind of my initial reaction to everything. All right, Falcons fans, that's going to do it. That's your 53-man roster. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you haven't already. And as always, be cool.